Here are 6 powerful and effective ways to communicate better in relationships. This is part 1, so make sure you follow and see part 2. In relationships, communication is key. For a lot of long-term couples, learning how to communicate with your partner without fighting can feel like an unreachable goal. We're not born with the ability to navigate conflict skillfully, and many of us grow without the benefit of role models who can show us how to communicate with a partner effectively. But there is some good news that even if you didn't grow up with good role models for how to talk with a partner about difficult topics, you can learn how to build a better relationship and communicate with these skills I'm going to show you. So stay tuned. Number 1, you know what? Make friends with your anger. Taking time to check in with your feelings lets you share the full range of emotions with your partner, not just your anger. It gives your partner the opportunity to understand you better and have empathy for how you're feeling, rather than just responding to your anger with defensiveness. Saying something like, I've been wanting to talk with you about what happened this morning. I've been feeling angry about it. But now I also see my feelings were hurt when you walked away from me in the middle of our conversation and then left without saying goodbye, is more likely to receive an empathetic response than, I can't believe the way you left this morning when I was trying to talk to you. Why do you always have to be such a jerk? Right? Sound familiar? Yeah. Number 2, learn how to tell the difference between thoughts and feelings. Most of us don't receive an education in identifying with our feelings when we're growing up. This is unfortunate because emotional literacy, being able to accurately label your feelings, is a crucial relationship skill. And I work with this in clients intensely, but it can be taught. Confusing thoughts with feelings is a common source of communication problems in relationships, and it's also associated with depression in adults. In relationships, the confusion between thoughts and feelings inevitably leads to frustrating attempts to talk about problems. Let me give you an example. Let's say you've been worried that your partner is losing interest in you and doesn't seem to care about you in some way. Right? That can happen. Which leads you to often say, I feel like you don't care about me anymore. While it can seem you've just shared your feelings, what you've actually expressed is an interpretation of your partner's feelings. When you're on the receiving end of this sort of statement, it sounds like an attack. The "you don't care about me" is heard way more loudly than you think. I feel like. It's likely that your partner would jump in to defend themselves and point to actions that disprove your statement. Something like, that's not true. Look at all the things I do for you. Sound familiar? Yeah, that comes up a lot. Because their response shifts their conversation from your original feeling to them justifying all the good things that they do for you. It's like you'll feel dismissed and unheard. Cue the very familiar, unproductive argument that goes nowhere. On the other hand, being able to verbalize your feelings by saying, you know what, I've been disconnected from you lately, and I've noticed myself worrying that you don't care about me anymore, keeps your feelings of disconnection and worry at the center of the conversation, and it's more likely to lead to a productive conversation. One way to get better at separating thoughts from feelings is to perform this simple test. And here it goes. Feelings can usually be summed up in 1 or 2 words. Heartbroken, happy, confused. Use any one of them. While thoughts disguised as feelings often start with, I feel like. If you remove the I feel like, you would still have a complete sentence. You don't care about me anymore. When you remove the I feel like at the beginning of the sentence, it's easier to see that the statement will probably sound like an attack on the other person. See what I'm talking about? Number 3, find the right moment, but don't wait too long. Couples who feel disconnected often tell us they feel discouraged because they have nothing to say to each other. If this hasn't been going on too long, we're often able to trace the source of disconnection back to a time when there was a serious issue they never talked about. As important as it is to find the right moment, it's equally important to not put off the conversation indefinitely, waiting for a time that feels just right. When there's something on your mind that you'd like to talk with your partner about, it's best to talk at the time when you can both be fully focused on the conversation, rather than trying to have a difficult conversation at a time when either of you is stressed, hungry, or guess what, preoccupied with everything else that happens to us on a day-to-day basis. You know what? Sometimes the best way to make this happen is to say, there's something I'd like to talk with you about. When would it be a good time for you? Thanks for this talk. I hope this helps. Make sure you catch part 2. And if you need some help, look into my bio. Let's talk. Love and light.